Hello guys, it's NautoAisDx. So this is gonna be part 2 of my Super Neptunia RPG censorship. So the gist of that video was that Super Neptunia RPG or Brave Neptunia in Japan was censored. Not the gameplay, but 2 of the CG scene basically had to be modified from its pre-release. So you could probably argue, say, well, it's not really censored because that was pre-release. It was before the game was released, and then they decided to modify it when it's post-release, like in the case with Street Fighter V with Cammy and Armika. Yeah, you could probably argue that, but the point is that you did it even in the first place, and then you have to change it. There was something, reason behind it, whatever. It's subjective, but to some extent, Idea Factory game, even Neptunia, have been a history of have some fan service. They don't cross that line, maybe close, but they don't cross the line. It is what it is. Yeah, maybe some people like that. Hey, you know what? To each of their own. I got no problem with that. And the reason the follow-up is that on November there was an Idea Factory press event, and they announced 3 more games that's gonna come out on the PlayStation 4 and Steam. Well, one of them. And you might say, how come it's not on the Switch? You know, Switch is doing good. How come it's not on other console? Well, a lot of these games have already been probably developed before the Switch was revealed. Probably a lot of them already were committed to it, and they just have to finish it rather than, oh, let's not release it because it's been censored, and I'll explain that why. So, unfortunately, some of them, at least props to Idea Factory International, that they were basically putting some disclaimer. 2 of the game will have 2 of their CG scenes, so at least just 2, and that's kind of, I've seen that pattern because you gotta know that Super Neptunia RPG also only had 2 scenes was modified, so there's some sort of basically middle ground there, but still, I don't like it. But yeah, there was gonna be, sadder to say, modified, so it's not, I don't know if it's gonna be real light or full Steam, whatever. That's why one of the games, surprisingly, was an announcement. It wasn't on the press event. They announced in 2019 was Mariage of the Agarest will be a Steam exclusive. It used to be on the PC. You might say, why not PS4? Well, it could be one reason is because of that censorship, and I keep talking about. Maybe it was just better. It was easier to do it on Steam. Again, there's a lot of things. So about this censorship rule I'm talking about. In that video, basically you noticed there was a part of a link I didn't really mention on the video, but it was talking about Monopiece Monster for the Vita version in 2014, and then in 2015 the president of Idea Factory basically gave his opinion about censorship and said that if we have to censor ourselves, if we have to modify it outside of Japan, then we rather not release it on the particular system. And what I'm talking about is that in 2014, I said before, I said it again, Monopiece Monster, it's an Idea Factory monster card game with Monster Girl. Outside of Japan, in the US, for the Vita, they had to modify some of the cards, and they said was because what Idea Factory were afraid of is it could be maybe the SJW. Yes, I said that word, yuck. But they said that it probably wouldn't be allowed by current society, so we had to basically be cautious about it. And you might say, oh, was it Sony censorship? No. In 2014, Sony was anti-censorship. That was been their rule. Like, Nintendo was censoring everything to some extent. Sony was the opposite. They believe in freedom of speech. I don't know now, maybe just different people, ridiculous, but whatever. And they say they did that upon themselves just to basically, they don't want to get in trouble with anyone, social media, the people, whatever. So they said, we want to make it safe, we don't want to get in trouble. Even so, from what I heard, and there's a rumor, even if it's an M-rated game, the ESRB, I think, didn't have a problem with the cards. It's just they did it upon themselves. The ESRB didn't have a problem, Sony didn't have a problem. Idea Factory said it was a conscious decision, but the good thing is that was the last time they did that. They said, okay, we're not going to do that again. And then a year later, the president of Idea Factory said, yeah, it was disappointing that we had to do that, but in the future, if we have to do that, we just rather not basically port it in that particular game on a particular system, which is, as of right now, I agree. So of course, if you play it on the Steam version, the game Monopiece Monster, it is uncensored, which is good. And just recently now in Japan, Moiro Chronicle H. So I kind of mentioned this game before in a different vlog. I think it's the Neptunia and Friend app, or in Japan, Manichi Compile Heart. So one of the characters there is from Moiro Chronicles, the game. Okay, so for people who don't know what that is, Moiro Chronicles is a Vita game, but never came out in the US, and multiple reasons from what I heard. I could be wrong about it. One is because the Vita was already dying, the sales were there, so they decided not to bring it. And two is the game is very, very fan servicey to some extent. And I said before, the president of Idea Factory said, if we have to censor it, we'd rather not bring it out. So there was some talk. They said, well, we can't just bring it out from its original form. Sony might not like it. Again, no one knows. And I said before, for Monopiece Monster, it was Idea Factory that did it. PlayStation, Sony didn't have a problem. The ESRB didn't have a problem. It was Idea Factory themselves that had a problem with it. So it probably could be the same thing with this one. So they just decided not to bring it. But they did rectify it by bringing it on Steam uncensored. Because the cool thing about Steam, yes, some people say, oh, I don't play games on PC. I'm a console guy. Then you got this PC. Then argument. You know what? I don't care. I play games where I feel like playing. If my PS4 is being used, I play Steam, whatever. I don't really care. Games are game. Play games. Great with the console loyalty, in my opinion. Like as Mouse923 said. Back to the story is it's on Steam uncensored because Steam doesn't do ratings, which, okay, well, whatever. It's their system. So, with that said, just recently, Idea Factory basically announced Moiro Chronicles Hyper, a Switch exclusive. You heard me right, Switch exclusive. And why is that sort of a big deal? Because believe it or not, in the past, Idea Factory Compile Hearts, believe it or not, they were actually Sony supporter. But of course, Sony's recent problem, stabbing them in the back by basically adding up this BS censorship policy. What can they do? Again, it's Sony. They're being stupid right now. I really don't understand. They've been supporter of Sony, and this is how you treat your loyal developers, your loyal third-party company that supported your system. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, it's always been PlayStation first, and then Steam. Now they're shifting into the Switch. I mean, yeah, there have been games a bit in Xbox 360. There was one Cross-Edge only in Japan, but mostly it's Vita or PlayStation 4 and then Steam. But for this one, for the first time, this game is going to be in the Switch. No mention of the PlayStation. Why is that? Easy. It's Sony's BS censorship policy. Am I sad about it at this point? No. It's a good move in my opinion. As a Sony supporter, I'm saying it. It's a good move. Yes, it will be a Switch exclusive. And cool. I mean, hopefully there'll be a US version. And I think it's a possibility because this game is based on the Vita one that went to the Steam. And now it's on the Switch. Will it be in the PS4? Probably not because of Sony's bullshit, excuse the language, censorship. Yes, it's freaking irritating. Oh, man. So, that's a good thing now, finally. And again, like what the president of Idea Factory said, if we have to censor ourselves, we're just not going to bring the game out. So, he is true to his word. But unfortunately, and this is sort of a downer part, but I guess you can't really do anything about it, is that during November 2018, there was an Idea Factory press event, and they announced 3 games that also going to go for the PlayStation 4. Besides Brave Neptunia or Super Neptunia RPG, which unfortunately to some extent the game is censored, 2 of the CG scenes had to be modified. 3 games that's already been announced in Japan. It's also going in America, in the US. And unfortunately also, because to some extent, and apparently from what I heard, they already been committed to this game, so they just can't just say abandon it and take an L. So they just, you know what, the game's almost done, let's just cut our losses. It's the lesser of two evils, because you already developed the game, you just don't want to bring it. Well, we can just not bring it and bring it to another console. Well, that's more work, and that what happened to the time and money they put in for the PS4 version. Yeah, I can understand why they have to. Yes, 2 of the game, unfortunately, is committed to be in the PS4, and of course, they got slapped of censorship. Again, same deal. At least Idea Factory were being transparent about it, and they did say that each of the game, all 3 games that they announced, are gonna have 2 of their CG scene modified. But the 3rd game is pretty interesting because it's also gonna come in Steam and Censor. So what are those games that I've been talking about that was announced in the Idea Factory press event on November of 2018?